this video. If you've been prescribed this very common drug and your kidneys have been damaged, you might be entitled to a compensation check big enough to make your lawyer happy.
Wow, that's amazing.
Catherine here, your favorite doctor of natural medicine, who's about to ruin your day by telling you that medicine you just popped could actually send you straight to the dialysis waiting room. Because yeah, I've spent my entire career with CKD patients, and trust me, I've seen more medical errors than Netflix has true crime documentaries. But this one is so big that yes, you might just be entitled to compensation. Okay, I get the irony. Being told you're entitled to compensation because of kidney damage feels like winning free tickets to the Titanic. Because here's the kicker. This drug is so common that even I was taking it. Yeah, your friendly neighborhood naturopath fell for it too. You thought I was gonna talk about some obscure drug, right? Nope, turns out the biggest threat to your kidneys might be sitting innocently on your bathroom shelf right now. Oh, and it gets worse. Dialysis worse. Yeah, there are documented cases of renal failure caused by this medication. So you may want to, stop taking this one. Because if you thought things couldn't get worse, well, hold my herbal tea. Today, I'm exposing 7 common and incredibly dangerous medical errors I see doctors commit weekly. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's immediately learn more about the PPI lawsuit. Because today, I have 7 pieces of advice for your doctors, and the number 7 for today is, no, you shouldn't be prescribing Prilosec to CKD patients. And I'm shocked that no one is talking about this, because here's the thing. Today, in June 2025, more than 18,000 people in the US have filed lawsuits against AstraZeneca and other manufacturers of proton pump inhibitors. I mean, 18,000 people? That's not a lawsuit, that's practically a rock concert crowd. So let's talk about PPIs, or as I'm starting to call them, the solve one problem, create 5 new ones pills. Because if your doctor is prescribing you something that's racked up more lawsuits than a shady car dealership, maybe introduce them to Google or common sense. Just saying. So here's the thing. If your doctor prescribes you a medication like this one I'm taking, a proton pump inhibitor, you might be entitled to a compensation that ranges from $20,000 to $150,000. And that's just enough to buy you a new kidney. And here's the worst part. These drugs have not been banned or anything like that. No. Prilosec, Nexium, Prevacid, Protonix, millions are popping this like Tic Tacs every single day, including CKD patients. Proton pump inhibitors are the first-line treatment for several acid-related gastrointestinal conditions, including gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD, peptic ulcers, and esophagitis. They are also often used to prevent stomach damage done by other medications. So yeah, please stop for a moment right now and double check that you are not indeed taking one of these. Let's make sure you're not casually killing your kidneys, because I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I've watched enough Netflix documentaries to confidentially say, yeah, you might want a lawyer now, especially if you are taking this at full dose and for the long term. The good news is that we have safer alternatives available for CKD patients, H2 blockers such as famotidine, for example. Now guys, before we move on to the next entry, I want to ask you a question, since I keep seeing CKD patients that actually take PPIs. Have any of you guys heard about the PPI litigation before? Or are you hearing about it here for the first time? Because a lawsuit that involves more than 18,000 people sounds like something you should hear about in the news, right? However, finding info about this proved to be especially difficult for me. I mean, my search history probably looks like I'm trying to uncover a top secret medical conspiracy right now. So yeah, let me know what you think. Okay, up next, our number 6 is a medical error that's somehow even worse than prescribing kidney toxic drugs. Yeah, I'll show you what it is in a moment, because if this drug horror story has you second guessing every pill you pop, you are not alone, and I can help. I offer one-on-one consultations that are fully personalized and built to get you real, measurable results. We'll not only audit every prescription you're on, but I'll also design a renal diet tailored to your labs, your symptoms, and your CKD stage. This is a science-backed approach that's helped real patients regain control of their health. So if you're serious about protecting your kidneys and making sure you're never sabotaging them, send me an email at catherine@newhopeforkidneypatients.com or click the link in the description. Okay, let's move on with our number 6. Number 6 is, let's go tell your doctor, no, that's not how you prescribe vitamin D. So let's talk about the kidney vitamin and how 9 out of 10 nephrologists are getting it all wrong. I keep seeing patients with a vitamin D level that's lower than your nephrologist's golf handicap and no vitamin D prescription. And that's just like having a car with a check engine light on for years and the mechanic just keeps topping up the windshield washer fluid for some reason. And the mechanic just keeps topping up the windshield washer fluid for some reason. Worse yet, I've also seen patients with high PTH levels and no calcitriol prescription. That's the vitamin D analog specifically made to treat high PTH. Something so basic even medical interns know it after their 3rd Red Bull. And frankly, most of all, I keep seeing patients who have never been tested for vitamin D levels. And now you may be thinking that forgetting about one vitamin is not as bad as prescribing a medication that damages the kidneys, right? Well, the truth is that it is worse. Why? The rule book says that nephrologists should get their patients tested for this level, especially if they see high phosphorus or low calcium levels. And it also says when to prescribe regular vitamin D3 and when to prescribe a vitamin D analog such as calcitriol. I mean, we're not asking your nephrologist to perform brain surgery with a spork here, just to follow the instructions. So yeah, that's why I'm saying that doctors getting vitamin D all wrong is worse than prescribing PPIs. Because with PPIs, doctors can at least say, hey, it's complicated. But with vitamin D, the guidelines are clearer than a patient's urine sample after drinking a gallon of water before their appointment. Okay guys, let's move on. Number 5, here's a question you should ask your nephrologist. Renal dosing adjustment, ever heard of it? Because here's the deal. If you have CKD, you can't take the same medication at the same dose for several years. It's now how it works. Let me explain. If you've ever had even a 2-minute conversation with a doctor, they've probably said CKD is progressive. Your kidneys will decline over time. What they might not mention, because apparently it's a secret, is that your kidneys help clear medications from your body. Are you seeing the plot twist yet? Here's the thing. Kidneys decline equals drug clearance declines. It's basically plumbing, folks. What goes in must come out, except, well, it doesn't compare out as fast when your kidneys slow down. If your kidney function decreases, you can't just keep taking the same doses you were taking back when your kidneys actually showed up to work every day. It's like buying a puppy-sized sweater and then wondering why it doesn't fit your full-grown Great Dane. And that's why doctors should always check a patient's GFR or glomerular filtration rate and adjust the doses of all the medications the patients take accordingly. That's renal dosing adjusting. Now, to be fair, most doctors know this, at least we hope so. But the problem arises when your kidney function changes faster than your doctor's memory. So a dose that was perfect for you at stage 3 might now be dangerous at stage 4 or 5, right? Here's some free advice. Keep an updated medication list or spreadsheet with you every single time you go to the doctor. Make it clear, simple, and easy to understand. Think of it as the instruction manual you wish IKEA provided. Doctors are busy, tired, and sometimes running purely on caffeine and hope. So if you don't make things easy, they're just going to wait until you show symptoms, and we don't want that. And this brings us to our number 4, which is probably the scariest entry in this list. Number 4 is all about drug interactions. So what's a drug interaction? Well, think of it like mixing the cleaning chemicals you have under your sink, alright? Except instead of accidentally creating toxic gas, you're accidentally creating toxic, well, actually, it's pretty much the same thing, just happening inside your body. And some drug interactions are so bad, the people suing the doctors are going to be the family members. This happened back in 2014, and in this case, a 79-year-old woman lost her life due to something called the triple whammy. The triple whammy is incredibly scary because it can cause acute kidney injury, kidney failure, and even loss of life in as short as 1 week. This isn't funny at all. It's just terrifying, and this is exactly why bringing that detailed medication spreadsheet to your appointments is essential. Anyway, serious drug interactions such as the triple whammy are not something we see every day, but something I do see almost every day is unfortunately the next entry. Our number 3 in the list of today's top 7 medical horrors. Let's talk about anemia. Here's what I'd love to tell most nephrologists. Just because your patient has CKD and anemia doesn't mean CKD alone caused the anemia, alright? Let me explain. This is going to be a little bit technical, so I'm going to use as many car analogies as possible, alright? Just in case you decide to show this video to your doctor or to your mechanic. Because here's the deal with anemia. It's very common in CKD patients, and it can be caused by 2 things, either CKD itself or a nutrient deficiency, folate, vitamin B12, or iron deficiency. Now, anemia is so common that if I see a stage 4 or 5 patient without anemia, well, that's when I'm going to ask questions. Yeah, everyone has it. And why, you ask? Because CKD causes it by decreasing erythropoietin or EPO production. EPO is a hormone made by the kidney which is crucial to stimulate the production of red blood cells, and not enough red blood cells equals anemia. So all doctors are going to think that if a CKD patient has anemia, anemia is caused by CKD. Car metaphor coming. This is just like saying that if your 67 Mustang is not starting, it's because your carburetor needs a cleaning, and not because your gas pump sold you contaminated gasoline. And here's the thing, both your doctor and your mechanic are going to be right in the vast majority of cases, alright? But not always, not always. Like, you could actually get contaminated gas at the pump. Nutritional deficiencies can happen in CKD patients, and they are way more common than getting contaminated gas because they can be caused by inflammation. And do you know what happens when a CKD patient has anemia caused by both CKD and iron or B12 deficiency? This happens. Oops. Wrong clip. It was supposed to play a video of a guy doing dialysis. That's what happens when you don't rebuild the carburetor of your 67 Mustang correctly. Anyway, what have we learned today? First, you should be careful with your carburetor. Second, that a CKD patient can still have nutritional deficiencies as a cause for anemia, even if they have CKD. By the way, if there is any doctor watching me right now and you are starting to think that maybe 1 or 2 of your patients might need some iron after all, here's a pro tip. Anemia of kidney disease is supposed to be normocytic and normochromic, alright? If the anemia is microcytic, macrocytic, or the RDW is elevated, it might signal a coexisting deficiency such as iron iron, B12, or folate. Order some tests. Don't let your patients end up like this. I hope it played the right clip this time. Anyway, time for our number 2. So, what's even worse than getting anemia wrong? Well, our number 2 is about a supplement that I still have to see a single doctor prescribe the right way. I'm talking about Ketoanalogues, a supplement your doctor is supposed to prescribe to you in combination with your very low protein diet if you don't want to end up on dialysis, or at least this is what the rule book says. As we can read, when kidney function declines, completely cutting protein from the diet and replacing it with this supplement may make a big difference for patients that don't like the idea of having kidney failure. And of course, if this approach works in patients with a GFR below 20, it can also be used in anyone with a GFR below 60. So yeah, anyone with CKD can benefit from a very low protein diet supplemented with Ketoanalogues. Actually, guys, don't tell this to anyone, but getting CKD patients started on a low protein renal diet is kind of my secret. It's how I get my patients to improve. Shh. So yeah, this stuff works, but shh, don't tell to anyone, okay? Anyway, I get that reading the medical terms here, such as could help preserve kidney function and may be recommended, sounds a bit like, yeah, whatever, it may help, it may be useless, do what you want. But this is not how guidelines work. There is a whole chapter of the Kidoki to explain when to prescribe Ketoanalogues, how they work, and why they work. And the only reason why they included that in the guideline is because these supplements do make a difference as long as you prescribe them correctly. However, I've yet to see in my entire career a single nephrologist prescribe these supplements the right way. I've talked to doctors who think Ketoanalogues should only be prescribed to dialysis patients. Not true. I've talked to doctors who think these supplements are a new type of cryptocurrency. Yeah, Ketoanalogues, are they trading higher than Bitcoin this week? But most of all, I've talked to nephrologists that never ever heard about these supplements. And this brings us to our number 1 for today. If there is one thing you should go to tell your doctor right now is this. No, the renal diet is not witchcraft. Because let's face it, if you are not on a renal diet, Ketoanalogues are just as useful as pepperoni pizza flavored bath mints that cost $3 a pop. Yeah, here's the thing. The renal diet is the cornerstone of kidney treatment. High potassium, renal diet. High phosphorus, renal diet. Out of control blood pressure, renal diet. Protein in urine, diabetes running wild, kidney throwing tantrums. You guess it, renal diet. And yet, doctors are only trained to solve these issues with pills. The same pills that were causing all the other problems I showed you in today's video. Isn't this something we should all think about? And guys, if you want to see what happens when a patient is started on a renal diet, this video appears for you, and this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Bye-bye!